here's Brody Brazil.
So as I'm recording this, the 2025 Speedway Classic has just been completed at Bristol, Tennessee. The Braves hit a couple home runs. They win the game 4-2 over the Cincinnati Reds. And as far as history goes, like the documentation of this game, everybody's going to look back on a beautiful Sunday afternoon, a great visual, perfect baseball game, nothing wrong. And that's the way it's going to be remembered unless you witnessed what happened on Saturday night, when this game actually started, when this game was supposed to be completed. And there's no better or easier way to put it than calling this the blunder at Bristol. Yeah, Saturday night was wild. Saturday night was kind of terrible for all parties involved. The rain was the main factor. There were some other things involved. I'm not here to make this video to hate on baseball for their attempt at pulling off something special, like trying to make a spectacle isn't easy. First things first here, I didn't have a vested interest either way in this baseball game. If Atlanta won or Cincinnati won, if you're a race fan or a baseball fan, that's all fine and great to me. All I really cared about most was that this was going to be a nice advertisement for baseball. I wanted this event initially to go well, to go easy, to go smooth, and to have everybody talking about it here on Sunday instead of talking about it last night like they were with the rain delay and eventually suspension of the baseball game. All I want is for baseball to do more of these, and I'm not sure that this is going to, what happened on Saturday night, stop them from doing more of these, but it's certainly going to give them a different outlook and hopefully some different planning and preparation going into another uncommon baseball venue game that they might play in the future. I was in awe of how much time and money and effort went into pulling off this single baseball game. I also saw the tweet somebody put that said, how do you have two major league teams playing in minor league stadiums for a full year, but you also have one game being played in the infield of Bristol Motor Speedway? The mind is blown thinking about that. But again, so much work and effort and consideration by baseball to even do this. They announced it like a year ago. And since then, you can imagine behind the scenes, all of the effort to pull this off was tremendous. And to have it be spoiled by rain. And I want to be clear, nobody can control rain. But there were some built-in like insurance assets here that weren't even used like the whole day of Sunday. Yes, eventually it got used, but maybe flirting with rain at all. They knew it was in the forecast. They knew it was a possibility. They tried to push the event forward no matter what, and they kind of got burned by that. But nobody can control rain. It's maybe the call should have been made earlier to push this game to Sunday. That was built in. That's why both teams originally had Sunday off. Instead of letting everybody come to the racetrack, eat all the food, get ready for the game, introduce the starting lineups, and then have to stop everything. So nobody can control rain. I want to make that clear. But it was a domino effect that made some unfortunate things turn worse. And look, when things started, the teams were introduced. There's the flyover. There's the fireworks. This is the money shot. This is the shot that will go down in history. But then people will say, wait, wasn't it a day game? Why are they all here at night? Yeah, no, this is when it was supposed to start. But this is it, like the full stands. You've got everybody there. This is the shot that should document kind of how things looked and how things were planned and how things were supposed to go. It's just a hard contrast to go from this to what fans actually witnessed, 4 outs into this game. They didn't even finish a first inning. They had a 3-hour rain delay right before first pitch. They did all the introductions. Then they were on the air stalling and waiting for 3 hours until they initially started the game and had to stop it. Austin Brisky here on X says, an absolute disaster of a day for MLB in Bristol. The rain puts us in another delay. So this is after the game had already started. Rain doesn't look like it's slowing down anytime soon. Lots of puddles in the infield. I mean, look at that playing surface. Crews doing their best to restore the infield. Shout out to the grounds crew that put this field in and made this field playable multiple times over in dealing with the elements that this is not a traditional field with typical drainage and all the world-class stuff that a major league ballpark has. This one doesn't have it. They had to make it work as best as possible. And so here we are, 4 outs into a baseball game. We're done for the night. And now we've wasted so much time because it's a 3-hour delay. And then we start the game. And then we wait a little bit longer to ultimately suspend it to Sunday. Let me show you firsthand an account of what somebody documented last night.
Well, as you've probably been able to tell from home, Bristol is pretty much a washout. It has been a train wreck here from the front gate to getting to your seats. Everything that could go wrong has gone wrong at the Speedway Classic. We're going to break it down maybe tonight, maybe on Monday. Who knows when this game's going to be played. Right now, as you can see, there's water falling from everywhere. Nobody's happy. Talk to you soon.
I don't know Steven, by the way, but I believe Steven hosts the Locked On Reds podcast for that Locked On network. That's why he was talking about. We'll document it later. But glad to kind of get that firsthand feel of what it was like to be there. But actually, if you dig into social media, there were more accounts of things not going well. Somebody named Lester Tate says Major League fail. The Bristol game was MLB's version of Firefest. And look at the photos here. Chips without cheese, so not really nachos. Hot dog tubes with no buns, bunless hot dogs and cheeseless nachos, multiple shuttles to even get into the stadium, and they were completely unprepared for rain. And in a sense, like they were prepared for rain. They had the whole Sunday blocked off to maybe move this game or play this game, as they ultimately did. But you would think, like Bristol Motor Speedway, they host a lot more people there for race events. So how did they come up so short on food? Maybe because of the rain delay, people were all of a sudden stuck in the concourse area. They had nothing else to do but eat for several hours, and they basically ate all the food out of Bristol's Motor Speedway. I laugh, but it's not funny, but it's kind of a terrible experience. And then, how about day two? Do you think Bristol Motor Speedway was completely restocked with food for day two? I guarantee you they weren't. That's why they allowed fans to bring in their own outside food and beverage for today, Sunday's game, because they basically ran out of supplies. They only had one shot at this. They blew that shot on Saturday night and then were left kind of, well, dry on Sunday. Joe DeTulio, I believe that's how you pronounce it, says Bristol Speedway Classic was something. Tim McGraw, pregame concert, check. Player entrances, check. Concessions. How do you run out before first pitch? So, okay, that has nothing to do with the rain delay. Apparently, concessions ran out quite early. The traffic was bad. But again, this is Bristol, baby, right? Don't they have big events here on a pretty regular basis? And this baseball event wasn't even the biggest. No baseball, obviously, because of the rain. Hotels in the area must have got smashed. The ability to walk the concourse, probably because of the mass amount of people trying to get out of the rain. Can't help rain, but not the greatest fan experience. And again, I'm not trying to bag on baseball. They tried something. They went out of the comfort zone, out of the logistics zone. I don't blame them for everything here, but I do just want to document the very worst parts. They had Sunday built in already as a weather backup. And on Saturday afternoon, if it's not looking great, keep everybody home. Like, stop the presses. We need to let everybody know tonight's going to be miserable. We'd rather save you now. Go enjoy your Saturday night and then come back tomorrow. We'll be ready for you then. Instead, they stuck it out in the rain, in the cold. By the way, in the summertime, I thought it was warm rain on the East Coast, but cold enough rain to have people miserable out there for hours and then running out of food. And then they didn't know, should we leave? Should we stay? We paid so much money. We've made the commitment. Traffic must have been a nightmare getting out and then coming back in again here on Sunday morning. So they had the built-in backup and they didn't use it. They kind of left people stretched out as long as they could on Saturday, only to bring them back basically on Sunday morning or afternoon. They had to be on television on the air for 3+ hours filling time. I've been in that spot before as a broadcaster. They did their best. They did an admirable job. I do want to say that, but it is hard to watch. And I'll be honest, I was actually doing something else, but I had that on in the background. So I was keeping an eye on what are they doing here for hours upon hours of conversation, and Poppy and A-Rod and Jeter and Kevin Burkhardt all did a tremendous job on the studio side on location there. But man, that is just hard television to watch. And even a network like Fox, which has tons of assets and resources, you can only do that so long before people are like, oh my gosh, this is hard to watch. The food supply, and then the cleanup from last night, like they were only expecting to play one game there and probably spend all day on Sunday cleaning up. They had to clean it up before Sunday. And the turnaround for day two must have been miserable, near impossible. What a disaster that must have been. Again, you could have averted all that by saying, hey, we're not letting anybody in. Tonight is not going to happen, right? Play the easy card. If you knew that there was a dunk on Saturday night or a layup on Sunday, go for the layup on Sunday. Did some fans never even get to see Sunday's game because like their plans had them leaving Bristol, going back to Cincinnati, going down south to Atlanta? Could some fans not even see the game they came for on Saturday and couldn't make backup plans to make this work? I think the last point I want to make about worst parts is that, yeah, Sunday and today happened, and the baseball game was completed. A 4-2 final score. Braves win. Simple as that. They raised the trophy for this brand new game. Maybe that means they'll be doing more of these. But the point is, history's going to tell one story of what happened. And baseball's going to try and probably brush everything else under the rug. And yeah, Saturday night, it was a mistake. It was a bad mistake. It was a huge blunder. I just hope for baseball moving forward, they can avoid that. Like, everything here was so perfect, so meant to be, so monumental. I do appreciate all that. I don't want them to get discouraged by what happened here. But I do think they should probably take a step back, reassess, learn, evaluate, and grow from it, and hopefully pull the next one off in a little better fashion. And look, they hit some unlucky spots. They just also stepped on their own feet along the way. Let me know what you think about all of this in the comments section below. Also, thumbs up while you're down there. Really appreciate that. Don't forget, hit that subscribe button down below. I would love to see you back here on the channel next time.